Imagine you are drowning in the middle of an ocean. The waves are towering, the sky is dark, and every breath you take feels like your last. There's no one around to save you, no ship in sight, no land within reach. In that moment of despair, you raise your hands, and with sincerity that only desperation can produce, you say, Ya Allah, help me. Suddenly, from nowhere, the tide shifts, and you find yourself afloat, carried gently by the waves towards safety. This is the power of dua. One sincere dua can change everything. Believe it and watch what happens next. My brothers and sisters, how often do we underestimate the power of dua? We rush through our days, facing challenges, heartaches, setbacks, and confusion, and only when we are completely broken do we think to turn to the one who has always been listening. But here's the beautiful truth. Allah is not just the last resort, He should be the first. The door of dua is always open, and the one behind that door is always responding even when we don't realize it. There's a hadith that reminds us, dua is the essence of worship. It's not just a ritual. It's a conversation with the one who created you, who knows your struggles better than you do, and who loves you more than anyone else ever could. When you make dua, you are engaging in one of the most intimate and powerful acts of faith. You are admitting your weakness, acknowledging His power, and submitting to His wisdom. That's not small, it's monumental. When the heart speaks to Allah, the heavens respond. Never underestimate your dua. This reality, my brothers and sisters, is more powerful than we can imagine. It's not just a phrase meant to uplift you in a moment of despair. It's a truth that has been experienced by prophets, by the righteous, by sinners who turned back, and by people like you and me. We often feel that our voices are too small, that our problems are too big, or that our sins are too many to be heard by the Lord of the worlds. But that is far from the truth. The door to Allah's mercy does not require credentials. It requires sincerity. It doesn't need perfection, it needs connection. A dua that comes from a heart that believes, even if it trembles, has the power to cause the skies to shake in your favor. We live in a time when we try everything, contacts, shortcuts, influence, wealth to solve our problems, and only when everything fails we remember to say, Ya Allah. But do you know what's amazing? Even when we remember Him last, He still listens. Even when we only turn to Him after exhausting our own weak plans, He still welcomes us. Because His mercy is greater than our mistakes. His compassion is beyond our understanding. When you make dua, don't think you're just uttering words into thin air. You're engaging in the most powerful dialogue a human being can ever have. You're calling out to the one who already knows your pain but loves to hear your voice asking Him. You are surrendering not in defeat but in complete trust that He can do what no one else can do for you. Now think about the moments in life where you felt utterly helpless. Maybe you lost someone you loved. Maybe you've been battling depression or heartbreak or fear of the future. Maybe you've been wronged or misunderstood or isolated. In those moments when your own strength can't carry you anymore, who do you turn to? That moment of desperation, that sincere call is more beloved to Allah than anything else. When you raise your hands with tears in your eyes and say, Oh Allah, I have no one but You, know that you have reached the pinnacle of closeness. Your status in that moment may surpass years of worship that lacked sincerity. The broken heart that turns to Allah is dearer to Him than a full heart that forgets Him. Look at the stories of the prophets. Each one of them teaches us this lesson. When Nuh spent years calling his people and faced nothing but rejection, he didn't stop calling out to Allah. When Musa stood at the edge of the sea with an army behind him and the ocean in front of him, he turned to the Most High and the impossible became possible. When Ayub suffered through unbearable illness and personal loss, he didn't despair. He simply said, Indeed, adversity has touched me and You are the most merciful of the merciful. That was enough. One dua, one call, and everything changed. These are not fairy tales, they are real, they happened, and they remind us that the one who answered them is the same one who watches over us today. But our problem today is not that we don't know dua works. Our problem is that we doubt ourselves. We think maybe I'm not good enough for my dua to be accepted. That is a trick, a lie. Don't let that voice stop you. The one who makes dua is never rejected if he is sincere. Even the one who has committed sins for years can raise his hands and ask, and the gates of mercy will open. You may think the darkness in your past disqualifies you, but Allah sees that as a reason to bring you closer. He loves those who turn back, even after falling again and again. Your dua is not invalid because of your mistakes, it is necessary because of them. Even more, there are times when dua is accepted in ways we don't immediately recognize. Sometimes Allah answers by protecting us from harm, sometimes by giving us patience instead of removing the test, sometimes by changing our hearts instead of our circumstances, and sometimes He holds it back because what we want is not what we need. That's why belief is key. If you truly believe that Allah is hearing you, that He is capable of all things, then even when your dua seems unanswered, you will remain calm. Because you know He is responding, just not in the way you expected. And the beauty of dua is not just in the answer, it is in the act itself. It purifies the soul, it softens the heart, it brings us closer to our Creator. It humbles us, teaches us reliance, reminds us of our helplessness and His power. It makes the pain bearable and the joy more meaningful. The one who lives a life filled with dua is never truly empty, never truly alone, and never truly lost. Because even when the world turns away, he knows he's being heard by the one who never leaves. Now consider this. Delayed isn't denied. Sometimes Allah prepares you before He grants you. That delay you're experiencing, that silence you're struggling with, it's not rejection, it's preparation. You may think you're ready for the blessing you're asking for, but Allah knows your heart better than you do. He knows when you need more strength, more faith, more gratitude before He places that gift in your life. Because what's worse than not receiving a blessing is receiving it at the wrong time. You may be asking for success, but what you need is humility first. You may be asking for marriage, but what you need is emotional maturity. You may be asking for wealth, but what you need is the discipline to use it in ways that please Him. Allah doesn't delay to punish you. He delays to protect you, to mold you, to elevate you. What you see as a pause, He sees as perfection in timing. When you plant a seed, you don't scream at the soil the next morning and demand results. You water it, you care for it, you wait. Because you understand growth takes time. The same applies to dua. Once you've planted it with sincerity, keep watering it with patience, with faith, with gratitude. It will grow, it has to, because the one you're asking is generous beyond measure. His treasures are endless. His mercy encompasses all things, and when He gives in ways that make you forget the long wait. You look back and say, if I had received this earlier, I wouldn't have appreciated it. Or, if it came before, I wouldn't have been ready. That realization is part of the gift. Sometimes Allah doesn't change your situation because He wants to change you. You may be begging for relief, but Allah sees the strength you're developing through hardship. You may be crying for the end of a trial, but Allah sees the sins falling away, the pride being removed, the faith being built. Don't be in a rush to escape what Allah is using to refine your soul. Growth is often painful, but pain that brings you closer to Him is the kind of pain you'll be grateful for one day. And remember, the delay in the dunya is not a delay in the reward. Every sincere dua is written. Every tear is counted. Every sigh is heard. And even if you don't see the result in this world, know that it awaits you in the hereafter. You'll meet it when you need it the most. On a day when nothing else helps, the dua will come to you like a light, like a shield, like a witness of your trust in the most merciful. If only we could see what happens behind the veil every time we raise our hands. the angels responding, the gates of heaven opening, the records being written. The entire creation may seem silent to you, but the heavens are alive with your plea. If you knew what was being prepared for you, you wouldn't stop making dua. If you could see what's being averted because of your dua, you would cry in gratitude. If you truly believed in the unseen response, you would never underestimate a single word spoken to your Lord. Don't stop. Keep going, keep asking, keep believing, even when it gets harder, especially then, because the moment right before the breakthrough is usually the most difficult. Shaitan will whisper, nothing is happening, give up. But the truth is, that's the moment everything is shifting. That's when the test of trust reaches its peak. Hold on. The doors are about to open. And when they do, you'll understand why they were closed for so long. Don't compare your dua journey to others. Everyone has their own timing. Some people ask once and are granted immediately. Others ask for years and see results later. The difference is not in who is more loved, it's in what Allah knows is best for each one. Your journey is unique. Your connection to Allah is personal. Nourish it. Don't let comparisons poison your faith. Don't let impatience rob you of closeness to Him. Sometimes the blessing is not in receiving what you asked for, but in becoming who you became while asking. The growth, the patience, the faith, that's what transforms you. That's what prepares you for what's coming. And when it finally arrives, you'll say, now I understand, now I see, it was worth every tear, every prayer, every silent night of hope. Even a whisper in sujood can shake the ski-speak to Allah when no one else understands. There are moments in life when you feel like you're drowning in emotions you cannot explain. You might find yourself unable to articulate your pain to another human being. The words might be stuck. The tears might fall silently, but the heart feels heavy. In those moments, remember that you don't have to explain everything to people. You only need to turn to the one who already knows. Allah doesn't require eloquence from you. He doesn't expect you to present a well-structured argument. He wants sincerity. He wants your heart. That brokenness you carry is not a weakness in His sight. It is a ticket to closeness, because He loves those who turn to Him with a heart full of humility. When you're in sujood, the lowest physical position a person can be in, you are spiritually in the highest rank. You are closest to your Creator. That is not just a position of worship, it is a sacred opportunity. Use it. Speak to Him. Whisper your fears, your hopes, your guilt, your needs. Let it all out, because the one who listens is not distracted. He is not judging. He is not impatient. He is responding in ways you don't even realize. Sometimes we look for comfort from people who are just as lost as we are. We search for answers in places where confusion only grows. And yet, the answers lie in the sujood that we neglect, in the prayers we rush, in the tears we hold back. Why do we hesitate to speak when the one we are speaking to is the one who created us? Why do we delay turning to Him when we know He's the only one who can truly fix what's broken? There is something incredibly powerful about being in sujood, completely alone, with no one to see you, no one to hear you, no one to applaud you, and yet knowing that the King of Kings is listening. You may think no one notices your struggles. You may feel invisible, but you are seen by the one whose sight never falters. And in that sujood, when you whisper your secrets to Him, the heavens move, the angels record, and your soul is lifted in ways the world can never offer. Don't underestimate those silent moments in the depth of the night when you're on your prayer mat and no one else knows the pain you're going through. Those moments are not wasted. They are investments. They are deposits in your account with Allah. You may not see the return instantly, but it will come. And when it comes, it will come with such beauty, such precision, such mercy, that you will look back and understand that every whisper mattered, every tear counted. Every moment in sujood was not just heard, it was treasured. There are people who appear very composed on the outside, smiling, functioning, doing their duties, but inside they are shattered. And yet, the strength they carry is not from within, it is from sujood. It is from the moments no one sees, the du'as no one hears, the brokenness no one understands, but Allah does, and that's enough. That's more than enough. That's everything. Because when He supports you, even if the world abandons you, you rise, you survive, you thrive. Not because you're strong, but because you are supported by the one who never lets go. Speak to Him. Tell Him your story. Not because He doesn't know it, but because you need to unload it. And there's no safer place to unload than in the presence of the most merciful. Speak even if your voice shakes. Speak even if all you can do is cry. Those tears are not signs of weakness. They are signs that your soul is alive. They are signs that your heart is connected. And the most beautiful thing is you don't have to speak in perfect language. You don't have to memorize lengthy supplications. Just speak. Let it come from your heart. Whether it's in Arabic or your native tongue or even just in thoughts, He knows, He hears, He responds. Now remember this, when you raise your hands to the most generous, be sure He will never leave them empty. This is a promise. This is a guarantee. The one you are asking from is not like the creation. He is not limited in resources. He is not bound by time. He is not pressured by circumstances. He is Al-Karim, the most generous. His giving doesn't diminish His kingdom. His generosity is beyond comprehension. When He gives with wisdom. He gives with love. He gives with mercy. And He gives at the right time. So ask with certainty. Ask with conviction. Don't ask as if you're unsure. Don't ask small thinking you're bothering Him. You're not. You are honored when you ask Him. The more you ask, the more beloved you become. Imagine that. The creation gets annoyed when you ask too much, but the Creator loves it when you ask Him again and again. Some people feel ashamed to ask for too much. They think it's greedy. But in reality, Allah loves those who ask abundantly because it shows you believe He can give you everything. It shows, His treasures are endless. So ask for guidance, for forgiveness, for health, for wealth, for peace, for love, for contentment, for anything your heart desires. Nothing is too big. Nothing is too small. Nothing is beyond His power. And ask with your heart, not just your tongue. Don't just repeat words you don't feel. Let your heart engage. Let your soul connect. When you ask, visualize the generosity of the one you are asking from. Let that belief fill your chest with hope, not despair. And even if you've been asking for the same thing for years, don't give up. Because you don't know how close you are to the breakthrough. You don't know how many obstacles have already been removed because of your dua. You don't know how many disasters were averted, how many blessings are on their way, how much your soul has grown all because you kept asking. The Prophet once said that your dua is answered so long as you don't give up and say, I've been asking but haven't been answered. That statement, that loss of hope is what prevents the answer not, the lack of response from Allah. And sometimes the answer comes in forms you never expected. You might ask for a job and Allah gives you peace of mind. You might ask for a spouse and Allah gives you strength in solitude. You might ask for a child and Allah gives you a deeper connection to Him. Don't limit the form of the answer. Just trust that it will come, and it will come in the best possible way. He knows what you need even more than you do. Also remember that when you raise your hands and ask, angels surround you. They say Ameen to your dua. They ask Allah to give you what you're asking. And even if you ask something good for someone else, the angels say, and for you the same. Imagine the generosity of a Lord who rewards you just for caring about others. A Lord who listens to every single supplication made in every language by every heart at every moment. That is who you are speaking to when you make dua. Never raise your hands in hesitation. Raise them in confidence. Raise them in humility, but also in hope. Know that the one you are turning to is the most kind, the most loving, the most generous, the most powerful. He will not turn you away empty-handed. Even if you don't see the results immediately, something is happening, something is shifting, something is being written, and the reward is guaranteed, if not in this world, then in the hereafter. And that reward is far greater, far more lasting, far more perfect than anything you could ever imagine. But for those who believe, even the smallest response in this world brings immense comfort. A slight opening, a gentle ease, a sudden peace in the heart, all signs that the most generous is responding. Pay attention to these signs. Don't dismiss them. Don't be blinded by your expectations. Sometimes the answer is already with you, but you're looking somewhere else. Be grateful for every sign of mercy, every tiny blessing, because gratitude invites more. When you are thankful, Allah increases. When you are patient, He rewards. When you trust, He delivers. There are days when your world feels like it's falling apart, when you're overwhelmed by burdens that seem too heavy to bear, and everything inside you wants to give up. Your heart is tired, your mind is scattered, your soul feels distant, and you wonder how long you can keep going. But in those moments, do not underestimate the power of a sincere dua made with tears in your eyes and conviction in your heart. When the world fails to offer comfort, when friends do not understand, and when solutions seem out of reach, there is always one place to turn. Raise your hands and call out to your Creator, knowing with full certainty that even if the situation doesn't change overnight, your dua is already changing something within you. It is softening your heart. It is anchoring your faith. It is inviting mercy into your life. Sometimes the situation itself doesn't change immediately, but you begin to change, and that's the beginning of everything shifting in your favor. We often rely on ourselves until we are broken. We keep pushing and pushing, thinking we can handle it all, and then we hit that wall where we just can't anymore. That's not a sign of failure. That's a sign that you are human. It's a sign that you were never meant to carry everything on your own. That is when you are supposed to stop, take a deep breath, and raise your hands to the sky and call upon the one who is never tired, who is never overwhelmed, who never sleeps, and who never abandons. And you don't need perfect words. You don't need to be in the best spiritual state. You just need to be sincere. You just need to want Him. That yearning is enough. That brokenness is beloved to Him. When you turn to Him while you're shattered, you're actually closer to Him than when you're full of yourself and independent. Sometimes we wait until things are perfect before we make dua. We think we need to have everything sorted. We think we need to be in a pure state. But what we don't realize is that dua itself is the purifier. It is what removes the heaviness. It is what polishes the heart. You don't wait until you feel strong to ask even while you're weak. In fact, those are the most powerful du'as, the ones that come from a heart that has nothing left but hope in the mercy of the most merciful. Don't be ashamed of your weakness. Don't think your brokenness disqualifies you from His mercy. It is that very brokenness that can elevate you to levels of closeness that even the most outwardly righteous may not reach. Because He loves those who are humble, and nothing makes you more humble than realizing that you are nothing without Him. And remember, when you think your dua isn't being answered, it doesn't mean it's being ignored. Sometimes not getting what you asked for is the greatest mercy. You might have been asking for something that would have destroyed you, something that would have pulled you away from your purpose, something that might have seemed sweet now, but would have turned bitter later. You don't see the full picture, you don't know the future, but He does. So trust the one who has infinite knowledge, perfect wisdom, and unmatched love for His creation. The delay isn't a denial. The redirection isn't a rejection. It's a sign that you're being looked after, that your dua was heard, and that something better is on its way, even if it's not what you expected. There is an unseen world that is activated when a servant raises their hands in sincerity. The angels begin to record, doors of mercy open, the heavens listen. Every dua is an act of worship, and every act of worship brings reward. Even if you don't see the result in this world, it is being stored for you. Nothing is wasted. Not a single tear, not a single whisper, not a single plea is lost. They are all collected with care, and they will bear fruit at the right time in this life or the next. But while you're waiting, don't just focus on what hasn't arrived. Reflect on what dua has already done for you. How many times did you find strength you didn't know you had? How many times did a burden feel lighter even though it was still there? How many times did peace descend upon your heart out of nowhere? That wasn't by accident. That was the power of dua in action. Sometimes the real answer to your dua is not a change in your external world, but a transformation within. A heart that was restless is now at peace. A soul that was dry is now alive. A person who was lost is now guided. That is the unseen work of a dua that was made in the silence of the night with sincere hope and trust. And when you've made dua, when you've poured your heart out, don't walk away with worry, walk away with certainty. Let your heart be calm, knowing that you have placed your matter in the most capable hands. Your job is to ask, his job is to respond. But the way he responds is not always how you imagined, and that's okay, because his plan is always better than yours. His timing is always more perfect than your impatience allows. He gives when you're ready. He gives when the path is clear. He gives when it will benefit you the most. And until that moment arrives, he continues to give you what you truly need: faith, patience, and spiritual strength. You see, dua isn't just about changing what is around you. It's about transforming what is within you. And sometimes what's inside us is the real obstacle. We ask for ease, but we hold on to habits that keep us in hardship. We ask for guidance, but we're not willing to let go of distractions. We ask for peace, but we don't guard our thoughts. So while you ask, also be willing to change. Ask for clarity and then remove what clouds your vision. Ask for strength and then take that first step. Dua isn't just a wish, it's a commitment. It's saying, Ya Allah, I trust you and I am ready to walk in the direction you guide me, even if it's not the path I had planned. And even when the pain persists, even when things remain difficult, don't stop asking. Keep making dua, not just because you want the outcome, but because you want the connection. That connection is more valuable than the answer itself. Sometimes the situation remains, but you find that your heart becomes content. That's a victory. That's an answered dua. Sometimes you still have the same challenges, but you no longer feel crushed by them. That's a response. That's a gift. And for those who worry they've sinned too much to ask, remember your sins are not greater than His mercy. Don't let guilt silence your voice. Dua is for everyone, not just the righteous. In fact, the one who feels distant and still turns to Allah, that is beloved, that is courage, that is faith. Don't let shaitan make you think you're not worthy. You are worthy of His mercy simply because He created you. You are His servant and He is your Lord. That relationship is never broken so long as you call upon Him. And He has promised that when His servant calls upon Him, He responds. So the next time your heart aches, or your mind is confused, or your soul feels empty, don't run to people. Run to Allah. Lift your hands, shed your tears, and speak. One powerful dua can change everything. It has before, it still does, and it always will. Believe it and then watch what happens next.